Irfan Ahmed, and today we are going to study about the topic that's Introduction to Human Anatomy and Physiology. So this is the basics of the human anatomy and physiology. We will study about what human anatomy is, what human physiology is, what are the various things which we have to study in this subject, that is the human anatomy and physiology. So we will start from the basics. So topic is here which will be discussed, that's the definition of the anatomy and physiology, structural organization, levels of structural organization, various systems of the human body, what are the basic life processes, homeostasis, and basic anatomical terminology. So we will start from the first, that is a definition of human anatomy and human physiology. So what human anatomy is, it's that branch of science which deals with the study of physical structure of human body. Whatever there is in the human body, whatever there is in the physical structure, that we have to study in human anatomy. Means we have to study anatomy of everything, that starts from the teeth, anatomy of teeth, anatomy of heart, anatomy of digestive system, anatomy of respiratory system. So you have to remember the names of the various organs which are associated with a particular organ system. For example, if we take the example of anatomy of heart, so in the anatomy of heart we have to study the various parts of the heart. We have to remember the names of the various parts of the heart. Okay, so then there is another term, that is physiology. So physiology is that branch of science which deals with internal working of living things. So if there is a heart, if we will study the functioning of the heart, that is called as the physiology of the heart. So it is that branch of science which deals with internal working of living things, and it includes functions like metabolism, respiration, reproduction. So everything is included in the physiology. So physiology, in short terms, we can say that it's related to the functioning of the human body, and anatomy, that is the physical structure of human body. From physics, from physical appearance, what human body looks like, that's called human anatomy. And what are how the various organs in the human body work, or how the various organs in the human body function, that's called as the physiology. So that is the definition of human anatomy and human physiology. Now structural organization, all multicellular organisms means organisms which consists of more cells. So these are organized at different levels, and we start it from the cell and enter with the organism. For example, this is the general example, living things and non-living things. If we take an example of non-living things, then the atom is the basic, then molecule. Okay, and if we take the example of the living things, starting from the cell is the basic unit of living organisms. So when various cells combine, they form a tissue. When various tissue combine, they form an organ. When various organs combine together, they form an organ system. And when organ systems combine together, they form an organism. So the basic building block from which the organization of an organism starts, that is the cell. So the basic functional unit of life is cell. From cells combination, there gives rise to tissues, and from tissue combination, organ is formed. Organs combine and work coordinately, form organ system, and organism is formed at last. So there are various levels of structural organization, from smallest to largest. From smallest, if we start from the smallest level, so the first level is chemical level, second level is cellular level, third is tissue level, organ system level, and organism level, which I have already told you. So these are the various levels of the structural organization. Now there are the systems of the human body. I have here introduced, there are 11 systems of the human body. First system, integumentary system. It includes our hair, our nails, our sweat glands, and our oil glands. These all are included in the integumentary system. Second is skeletal system. This involves the bones of appendicular system, bones of axial system. So appendicular plus axial system plus the bones of suckle. This all is included in a system called as skeletal system. Third system is a muscular system, means it involves all the muscles of our body, that's called as muscular system. Fourth is endocrine system, which involves the endocrine glands of our body. Okay, and fifth is cardiovascular system, which consists of heart and blood vessels. Lymphatic system, it consists of lymph and lymph nodes. Respiratory system, it consists of lungs, trachea, bronchi. Okay, that is involved in the respiratory system. Digestive system, it consists of mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestines, large intestines, uns, that is involved in the digestive system. Nervous system, it involves brain cells, neurons, plus all other cells. Urinary system, it consists of kidneys, urinary bladder, ureters, urethra. And reproductive system, there is a male reproductive system and female reproductive system. Male reproductive system consists of various parts like testes, pens, etc. And female reproductive system consists of ovaries, fallopian tubes, urethra. So that is included in the female reproductive system. So these are the 11 main systems of the human body which we have to study in the human anatomy and physiology, because this is the introduction to human anatomy and physiology. So we have to study all these 11 systems in detail in the coming topics, that is skeletal system, integumentary system, muscular, endocrine, cardiovascular system, lymphatic system, respiratory system, digestive system, nervous system, urinary system and reproductive system. So we have to study these systems in detail. Next is different basic life processes. So first basic life processes is metabolism, means chemical processes that occur in the body. Now the metabolism either can be catabolic or that can be anabolic. Now catabolism, what catabolism means? Catabolism means breakdown of complex chemical substance into simpler components, means you have a complex substance that is with the help of the breakdown by chemical breakdown that converts into the simpler components. For example, digestion of proteins into amino acids, because you know the proteins are amino acids are the building blocks for proteins, means various amino acids combine together and form protein, and if the protein is broken down it will convert into smaller amino acids. So that is catabolism. Second thing is anabolism, that means building up, it is the opposite of the catabolism. Anabolism means building up of complex chemical substance from smaller simpler components, means from small components when a big component is formed, that is called as anabolism. For example, use of amino acids to build new proteins of the body. Okay, so that is the metabolism. Second basic life process, that is responsiveness, means that is the body's ability to detect or to respond to the change. For example, if you by chance if you put your hand on a hot stove, you will abruptly remove your hand from there, that is called a responsiveness. So it is the body's ability to detect and to respond to the change. First the body detects the change and then after that it responds to those changes. Next is movement. It is also a basic life process. Movement means the motion of the whole body, individual organ, single cell, etc. So this is also a life process. Next is growth. Growth is also a life process, because growth what means, it's an increase in body size, increase in body weight, that's called as growth. Differentiation, it is development of cell from unspecialized to specialized state, because cells are first in the unspecialized state when they start to grow. These are in the unspecialized state and then they get converted into a specialized state. And last one is reproduction, that is also a basic life process, means formation of new cells or the production of a new individual. Means if a production of new individual occurs, then that process is called as reproduction. So that is also basic life process. Homeostasis means in which an organism tries to maintain stable internal conditions, means it is a self-sustaining mechanism. It is an inbuilt mechanism in humans or in organisms by which they try to maintain the internal environment or internal conditions stable. Okay, so without hemostasis, if there will have been no hemostasis, organisms would not be able to have stable internal conditions. So because of that, they will not be able to survive. Because if you don't have an internal stable environment, if inside you the environment is not stable, then you can't survive. So hemostasis is necessary for survival. So hemostasis is a dynamic condition in response to changing conditions. Whatever the conditions change, the internal conditions must be stable. Okay, so we have a body. The two body systems that largely control the body is hemostatic system. So our internal environment inside the human being, that is controlled by two systems. First is nervous system, second is endocrine system. So that is of hemostasis is that is continuously being disrupted by either external stimuli or internal stimuli. External stimuli means if there is uh, if there is intense heat, so that will disrupt our hemostasis internal condition. If there is excessive cold, that will also disrupt, and if there is lack of oxygen, that will also disrupt our hemostasis, means internal conditions. Second is internal stimuli which disturb the hemostasis in us is psychological stress. If you are taking too much stress, then that may disrupt our internal system. Psychological stress then leads to various conditions like stroke, heart attack, etc. So these are the conditions which are related to the stress, psychological stress. And second is exercise, that will also sometimes disrupt the hemostasis. And this disruption, it can be mild, means very low, or it can be temporary. And if hemostasis is not maintained, death may result. Because if you can't maintain, if you cannot maintain your internal environment, that will lead to the death. Because you have to maintain everything, you have to maintain the internal system, that's maintained by the nervous system, that's maintained by the endocrine systems. Because for maintaining your internal system, you either need hormones or you need the work of the nervous system. So if nervous system and endocrine system, these work simultaneously, that could lead to that process. Now how we can control hemostasis? So hemostatic imbalances occur because of disruptions from external environment and internal environment. And generally that is regulated by our nervous system, endocrine system. These act together or these can act independently. So the nervous system that detects the changes, okay, and sends nerve impulses to counteract the disruption. Then the endocrine system that regulates hemostasis by secreting hormones, various hormones like levodopa, dopamine, etc. These are secreted. These control regulate the homeostasis. And whereas nerve impulses cause rapid change, hormones work slowly. Means our brain works fast and our hormones work slowly. So these both maintain or control the homeostasis, means internal environment. So this was all for the today. In next topic we will study about various anatomical terms and about the cell and its structure. So this was all for the today. Thank you.